Everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Woo! I'm Steve Call. I'm the Dean of the Journalism School, and it's my honor to welcome you here. Graduating students, congratulations. Your family, your friends, our faculty, and you guys did great today. Those of you who are out there, I thought you rocked it. I think you deserve particular credit for that moment in President Bollinger's speech where he referred to free expression and you just like went wild. I thought that was a tough speech to know when to cheer and when not to cheer, and you made no mistakes and you got the one opportunity, you aced it. I remember last year he was giving a similar speech and he talked about journalists in Turkey going to jail, and the students on our side cheered because they heard journalists. And so I was a little bit worried about traps of that kind, but you avoided them all. Did us proud, thank you. Look, this is a day of celebration, well earned by all of you, but also I think always traditionally at this time, appropriate time for a little gratitude. And the people behind you and around you, I know in some cases personally, but in many cases just intuitively have played such a powerful role in bringing you here to this day and making this possible for you. So let's acknowledge our parents and our friends and family who did all this. So in a few minutes, you'll become alumni of the best journalism school in the world. And we're going to hear a little bit about the next phase of your association with this school. I just want to say, you saw at Career Day, which was, by the way, the last time you looked this good. You saw at Career Day that moment when we asked of the people who were interviewing, how many of you are alums? And all those hands shot in the air. And that's just evidence of something you're going to encounter, not just in this country, but when I was in Delhi for the school in January, I went into the newsroom of the Hindustan Times, and there was a cluster of recent alums doing data visualization at a terminal next to the editor-in-chief's desk. You're going to find alums all over this world. It's the most powerful network in journalism, 10,000 strong. And so you'll have an opportunity to watch out for others and to serve graduates as they come out over the next few years, I'm sure. You're going to get a lot of advice this time of year, so I'm going to spare you, but I just wanted to make one observation about you, especially that I've learned about in the classroom, the privilege of teaching you. And it's self-evident in the roster that's going to parade across this stage. This is an extraordinarily diverse student body. You're creating so much strength for the profession of journalism out of that diversity, just as you've enriched us in the classroom. More than 50 countries represented in this audience right now, and so many ways to succeed in journalism. That's, I think, for a lot of us on the faculty who have been in this profession our whole lives, what's so exciting about journalism is that it's truly an open profession. If you report deeply and work honestly, you can succeed from almost any perspective, any background. And that's really what's required to find the stories that matter, because they're not located in privilege or credentials. They're out there on the street. And so I'm just so proud of what you represent about Columbia journalism. So, so now it's my privilege to introduce our first speaker, who is the new president of our Alumni Association, a wonderful journalist and friend of the school, Karen Talloon, who is the project manager for global broadcast at Bloomberg News. Karen is just taking over the alumni board at the school, and we're so fortunate to have her leadership. Karen.
Gosh, there's so many of you. I'm going to read, at least attempt to. Thank you, Dean Call, and good afternoon to everyone, especially our 2016 graduates. Since I graduated from the J School in 1985, when there were manual typewriters, I have done many things that I will admit to. I have written about fashion and film, I've worked in radio, and I've produced countless hours of live business television. And I currently enjoy the challenge of helping an amazing global news organization, Bloomberg, bring transparency to the world of finance, markets, industry, and influence. Along the way, I've found some time for one husband and two daughters, or two husbands and one daughter. I don't know, there are people at home when I get there sometimes. And I do resemble some of them. Through all this change, one thing has remained constant: my ability to harness the skills that I learned right here at the J School. It was here that I developed the tools and the confidence that I use to this day as I pursue my career, a career that continues to enthrall me and honestly sometimes confounds me. For those graduating today, welcome to the best journalism network in the world. As the dean said, a network of alumni who are committed to upholding the highest standards in journalism, who help each other as we seek the truth, who are adept at responding to changes in the industry, in fact, often are the change in the industry, and whose creativity and vision will help to craft and lead the future of news, information, and communication in all its forms. You're part of a truly global lineage of excellence, and there will be more and more classes sitting exactly where you are for the countless years to come. I know you will receive a lot of advice, solicited and unsolicited, but here are my 2 cents. You all have a bag of swag, and there's a magnet in there that says, "Stay connected to the most powerful network in journalism." And that is my advice and my request. Keep in touch. Stay connected. Use your Columbia J School bond to share your time and talents with your colleagues. Volunteer to serve on an alumni committee. Give what you can to the alumni fund. And when it's your turn to seek out guidance, know that you can count on the J School network. Let us know where you are and what you're up to. We really do care. Your story, your experience may inspire someone who is mid-career to try something new, or may help a more recent grad navigate tricky career waters. Just this morning at 10:57 to be precise, I do work at Bloomberg, so I do love my numbers, I received a CV from one of you who's probably sitting out there. And you should know that I already shared that CV with our hiring managers and with an editor that I know. So the network is real. It really does work. Reach out to us. The value of our J School education lives on in our valuable connections. Today's graduation is just the beginning for all of us. So congratulations and thank you.
And now I'd like to introduce Rebecca Castillo, who is the advisor to SBJ, and she'll introduce our student speaker today.
The Society of Professional Journalists is an international organization for reporters of broadcast, print, digital media, and photojournalists who support each other and provide examples of the best practices of journalism. They remind us to hold ourselves to the highest standards of ethics, integrity, and getting the story right, as well as advocating for the protection of the First Amendment and its guarantees of freedom of speech and press through its advocacy efforts. At the Graduate School of Journalism, we have a student chapter of Society of Professional Journalists, SPJ, which is also the de facto student government. All of the officers are elected at the beginning of the fall term. I would like to ask all members of SPJ to stand and be acknowledged for their hard work of this year. This year, Asta Rajashri was elected the president. When I asked her why she wanted to be president, She said she wanted to give voice of the student body to the administration while providing opportunities for the students to get to know each other. She also wanted to leave her stamp as a woman leader while she embarked on this journey of a lifetime. I present to you the 2016 class president, Asta Rajvajin. I thought about it too long.
That's okay. Good afternoon, deans, faculty, parents, friends, and peers. As I was writing this speech inside the glorious computer lab 501A, I glanced over to see what many of you had scribbled on the board, presumably during one of the many sleepless nights of writing, rewriting, transcribing, editing, slowly dying. I'd like to read out what some of you wrote on the board, if I may. Wait, when was the deadline? I think we have a story. Are you just making up quotes? It seems it's been an incredibly grueling year at the Columbia Journalism School for all of us, with Brad's coffee, the grammar test, courseworks 1, 2, 3, and 4. Wait, you didn't know about that? Maybe you should have checked your Lion Mail about the MGH2 evaluations. And of course, a serious stapler shortage, which I insist has now been rectified. You're welcome, class. It's no short of a miracle that we've managed to come out on the other side alive and intact. For this reason, I want to say to you, class of 2016, congratulations and a very happy graduation. While being this class's graduation speaker is exciting and daunting in equal parts, I'm under no illusion here. I know that I'm deeply underqualified to give any of you good advice on how to grapple with life post-graduation as we enter or re-enter this profession. I can, however, reflect on what I've learned during my time at J-School and hope that along the way, you felt the same way. I've learned that being a good journalist is about devoting your life to this craft. It's about bringing a childlike sense of wonder to it and letting it teach you new things continuously. It's about taking every edit and every cut and every criticism on board to mold your work into a masterpiece. I've learned that journalism school, at the end of the day, isn't really about jobs and internships, despite the fact that in a practical sense it is. Because if you hadn't come here, you could have kept writing and shooting video and taking photos, and you could have applied to journalism jobs and you would have gotten somewhere. But what this school did for me, at least, is bring together like-minded individuals committed to this craft to do it well and to do it right. Even in the cyclical nature of new technology, newsroom limitations, and staff cuts, I hope we all stay in journalism for the love of our craft. Because I have absolutely no doubt that in a year or 5 or 10, many of you will be leading these newsrooms and imparting your own wisdom on the next generation of young journalists. When you are leading those newsrooms, I'd like to ask you to push boundaries, challenge the status quo, and bring in new and diverse views to the conversation. Hire more women and more people of colour. You'd be amazed at the challenges they sometimes have to face to break into the industry, whether it's being a minority voice or simply not having the means to pursue this career. I've seen many of them do amazing things within the walls of our very own J-School, like Natalie Patillo, who somehow manages to work full-time and be a single mother to the cutest kid, all the while pursuing her dream to write for her illiterate mother. Or Lillian Zhang, who unashamedly talks about the imposter syndrome, despite having a blog with 8,000 followers and being a Rhodes Scholar. Or Shandu Malotzi, whose energy and dissenting voice on issues of race has made everyone stand up and listen. These are all women who continue to fight for their place in journalism, and from their examples I've learnt that journalism is about having a voice with a purpose. Now, before the Oscar-style music starts playing to tell me to get off stage, I'd just like to express my gratitude to a few people for making the J-School experience all that it could be. Firstly, I'd like to thank SPJ, in particular Rebecca Castillo, for her unwavering support and guidance. We are very lucky to have you. The SPJ board for your service and commitment, as well as the presidents of all other student associations who dedicated their time to serving the student body. SPJ board and presidents, thank you. To the professors at this institution, thank you for your dedication. This profession is largely self-regulated and self-taught, but it is held to a high standard because of you. In particular, I'd like to thank my reporting professor, Lonnie Isabel, for setting me out to cover the Iran nuclear deal on my first day, no big deal, and for his home-cooked pie. I'd also like to thank my master's advisor, Kristen Lombardi, and Dean Coronel for the wonderful Stabile program that I was lucky to be a part of. Lastly, thank you, Professor Sarah Stillman, for truly serving as a role model for the kind of journalist I hope to be one day. Thank you to the staff and faculty, particularly Shep Birkin and Dean Huff, for always attending to our demands and tantrums. Our school continues to function largely due to you. To my parents, thank you for everything you have sacrificed over the years so that I could be here today. I am so proud to be your daughter. And finally, to all of you, class of 2016, friends, peers, future colleagues, you have worked hard and you have worked well. Even if you may feel as though your work or the struggle of jobs and internships doesn't show this now, your taste is magnificent and it will take you far. After all, you chose to come to the best journalism school in the world to perfect this craft. I'd like to end now with a quote that I think perfectly encapsulates our time here. I quote, "Is there a profession that's more noble than a storyteller? Doctors might save lives, but why save lives without those lives' stories being told?" Guy at your J-School Twitter account, you brightened our days just a little bit more. Congratulations, class of 2016. We did it.
Thank you, Asta. Future staplers owe you a great deal, a great debt. The Columbia Journalism Award is the school's highest honor. It's voted on by the faculty for singular journalistic performance in the public interest. It's presented annually to someone of great accomplishment and distinguished service to journalism, and it's been presented here every year since 1958, and some of the past winners have included David Halberstam, Ben Bradley, Pete Hamill, Joan Didion, Walter Cronkite, Alan Rusbridger, the former editor of The Guardian, and last year's winner was Nina Totenberg, just to name a few of the earlier winners. And this year the award is being presented to Lyse Doucet, the BBC's award-winning chief international correspondent and senior presenter, as they call anchors over there, and who anchors for the BBC World TV and World Service Radio. I met Lyse, coincidentally, in Pakistan in 1990 when she was the BBC's correspondent there. I remember after Benazir Bhutto was removed in a coup the first time, we interviewed her together and watched her weep, which I thought was very impressive at the time until I realized she does that all the time. Myself and other faculty members who have known her abroad have admired her ever since. She is a reporter's reporter, and even though in Britain she's really quite well known and really could craft any kind of life behind a desk that she wanted, she is the most relentless field reporter still to this day in places like Syria and Afghanistan. She's been in Syria 3 times since December, in Aleppo in March. And so we really admire the way her career has evolved, always staying on the ground and yet continuing to accumulate experience and perspective that allows her to interview in depth, analytically, and to really think about where stories are going and why. Throughout her 30-year career with the BBC, she's reported from all over the Middle East and West Asia, West Africa, really everywhere in the world. She's regularly deployed now to present special news coverage from the field when the big stories are on, or to interview world leaders. She reports across the BBC's domestic and global outlets in Britain and worldwide, and she's reported on every major story in the Middle East since the mid-1990s. And she's won every award that a career like hers can attract. Before this one, anyway, an Emmy, 2 Peabodys, the Edward R. Murrow Award, and 8 honorary doctorates. And a couple of years ago, she was appointed Officer of the Order of the British Empire for her services to broadcasting, which ain't bad for a Canadian. So it's my pleasure to introduce Lyse Doucet, the recipient of this year's Columbia Journalism Award.
My name is Lyse Doucet. I'm a girl from small town Canada, the country to the north. And this is Columbia University Journalism School. I never went to journalism school. I didn't want to go, but you know, today I'm changing my mind. What a great, great honor and surprise to be with you here today. With the more than 300 graduates, and with so many of the people who matter so much to you, your family, your friends, your faculty. And to your faculty, I owe the greatest of thanks for this recognition. And in your faculty, Professor Howard French, who won, yes indeed, he wins your applause today, and yesterday I heard he won the Teacher of the Year Award. Now, because Steve Call made such a big thing about me being such a great journalist, I have to tell you a bit of news, but it's off the record. Howard French is one of the very first foreign correspondents I ever met in my life. 33 years ago, in West Africa, in Côte d'Ivoire. We were baby journalists then. Except I was crawling and Howard was walking. And even then, I was so impressed by how cool, how confident he was. Still is, huh? And when I received the email from Dean Steve Call a few months ago on my iPhone, I read it 3 times. First of all, I read it, and I had a sharp intake of breath. Then later in the day, I took another peek, and I read it again in case I got it wrong. Then I waited to the next day, and I thought, oh my God, I haven't replied. What are they going to think? So I read it again, because I couldn't afford to get it wrong. It was from Steve Call, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, the journo genius I met nearly 3 decades ago. He's a bit intimidating, isn't he? But he's very nice. And so today I thank you, Steve Call, I thank Howard French, and I thank all of the faculty. And I thank you for allowing me to share your day. When a journalist travels, we go in search of a story. And so it is today as I join you. And what is your story, the class of 2016? I'm still piecing it together. I'm told of a class which comes from across the United States and across the world. From Korea to Kenya, from South Africa to Saudi Arabia. Do you remember when you received that email, that acceptance letter from Columbia University? Did you, like me, have to read it 3 times? Or did you immediately scream, so to speak? Hashtag, oh my God, exclamation mark. Emoji, clap, clap. You had arrived. And now, you're going. You're going into a world of journalism that even in the year and more that you have been here has changed. It is changing every year, and it will keep changing. So what about us, the journalists? I'm told you're a class that cares about the world beyond, but you're also a class that wonders and worries. I'm told that some of you will go armed with one of the best degrees in journalism the world can offer to countries with some of the worst conditions the world can offer, places of censorship, security risks, repression. Others worry that journalism jobs are hard to find and that doing good journalism is getting harder. When I asked about your class, I was told a story about a student who spent time during the winter break in the French port city of Calais, in the informal, squalid refugee camp they call the jungle, a place not fit for humans. And that student came back exhilarated by the reporting he was able to do, but also frustrated, ambivalent, and asking, what difference did it make? And if not? As a journalist, I believe that the smallest of stories can tell us a much bigger story. So I got in touch with that student, who it turns out is Canadian, like me. And I mention Hassan's story to you today, not because it is any more noble or noteworthy than any of you here today, but perhaps he raises a question that all of us raise, including students like Muna, who I worked with in Pakistan. And she told me about what a tough and challenging year you've had. And Adela, who I met on Twitter, who told me how excited you were, and she's true. What Hassan told me on email, so what is the point of it all? You know the answer. It's even on your Twitter page. Impact. The impact of our journalism. And I was thinking about impact when I went to Calais last month, even before I wrote a single word, because I was challenged there not by a Columbia University graduate like you, but by an Afghan teenager with hardly any school at all. He'd come from a village south of Kabul, divided between the Afghan army and Taliban control, a village where the Taliban said boys and girls couldn't go to school. Like hundreds of children in Calais and thousands now across Europe, this teenager, Sabanullah, was traveling all on his own, sent by his family to reach Europe and to do whatever it took, whether hiding in the back of a lorry, clinging to the bottom of the train, doing everything to reach his relatives in Britain, to reach the possibility of a future, to be educated. And every one of you here today knows exactly what that means. Some of the Afghans, the Syrians, the Sudanese children, All boys I met there, some as young as 10, have been trying for months, some more than a year, to reach that new life. So many of us have told our stories to so many journalists, Sabalandla told me, and it doesn't change anything. Look at me, he cried. Look at the mud, look at the shoes, look at my clothes. And I looked at his eyes, empty, exhausted, even in a life that had only just started. So I spoke about the boys on TV, on radio, online. I posted on social media. I talked to lawyers. I talked to officials from Britain's Foreign Office. I'll talk about it when I go back to Afghanistan. I'm talking about it today. Will it have impact? It won't suddenly make it easier for any of those boys to get to Britain. But it is part of a crucial conversation in our society today that we as journalists are part of. The questions we ask define who we are as journalists. They define the kind of societies we want to live in or aspire to. You've all seen the soul searching among American media about US election coverage. When journalists stop asking questions, stop looking for answers, when journalism is live streams or viral videos, something's missing. Journalism. It's our job. It is what we do. The class of 2016, it's getting a lot harder to do what we do. Let me just mention to you a few other stories that happened in April. Some of them made news in some places, some not at all. April 4th, Iraq. More than 25 Iraqis killed, more than 60 injured in attacks carried out by the so-called Islamic State or Daesh. April 19th, Afghanistan. More than 60 killed, more than 300 injured. It was the worst attack by the Taliban since after the attacks of 9/11. April 28th, Syria. More than 20 killed when a hospital in the rebel-held area of Aleppo was hit. A hospital linked to the medical charity Médecins Sans Frontières. It killed the last pediatrician working in that area, the doctor who takes care of the children. No matter, no wonder they flee. So, graduates, which explosion got the most attention in the United States? A country, you all know, has been heavily engaged in all those wars. Let me give you your last multiple test question here at Columbia. A, the Iraq attack. B, Kabul. C, Aleppo. D, all of the above. E, none of the above. E, April 8th. Nearly 800,000 people watched live on the Facebook page of BuzzFeed another explosion. An exploding watermelon. A watermelon destroyed by winding rubber bands around it until it detonates in all directions. A dead watermelon. That explosion accumulated more than 10 million views in the days after. So tell me, graduates, do we all need watermelons, dead or alive, in our journalism? Hashtag watermelons are us. Class of 2016, you are graduating in the worst of times, in the best of times. The best because we live in a world where never have we been so connected, so well educated. Never have there been so many exciting platforms for you to tell their stories. Never has there been such technology which allows us to report live from anywhere at any time in the world. And never has there been a graduating class from the Columbia University School of Journalism where about half of your students come from somewhere else than the United States. The worst of times, because jobs in traditional media are disappearing. Because more and more of the storytelling is being done by people with a smartphone or a digital camera. Everyone thinks they're a journalist now. We live in the best of times. We live in the worst of times. And it can bring out the best in us, or it can bring out the worst. This is your moment, and it is nothing less than a defining moment in journalism. On Monday, the BBC, who I work for, did a special day of coverage called World on the Move, a day to look at the worst refugee crisis in decades, but also a time of unprecedented mobility. We did it the old-fashioned way, we did it the newfangled way. I'm fortunate, I know, because I work for a global public broadcaster which covers the stories I believe matter, and I believe possibly you believe matter too. But let me tell you what I did on that day. My day started at 7 a.m. in the BBC's lovely Art Deco theatre, 1930s, where we did a live radio program with an audience. And when I wasn't talking, I was taking photos with my iPhone and tweeting. Then after that, I went to another live discussion, live on radio and also on Periscope. And then I went and sat in front of 2 computer screens and a TV screen as Angelina Jolie, who's the UN Special Envoy for Refugees, spoke live in that radio studio I mentioned, live on TV and radio, live on a stream on our Facebook page, BBC News, and I was live on that page taking comments and questions. And whenever and wherever I could, I talked about the real stories, the stories of refugees and migrants, the stories about the boys in Calais. And as I went out the BBC door, a woman stopped me to say, "You know those boys you said are trying to come to Britain? You know, I have an extra room in my house." Person to person, platform to platform, we connect the dots. And then I went home and I sat down with my laptop, my iPhone, my TV. I sat down to think about you, and I Googled the future of journalism, 2016. In 1982, when I graduated in Toronto, it was also a time of recession, a time of few jobs. I wanted to be a foreign correspondent. Every editor I wrote to told me, "Sorry, you need experience." I'd only ever written a few articles for a publication called Real Estate News. Or you need a journalism degree. Sorry, class, I didn't want to go to journalism school. So I went to West Africa. I knew a bit about the region since I'd studied it in graduate school. I knew a little bit about speaking French. I worked in a small town in Ivory Coast for a few months as a volunteer teacher, and then I went to the city to become a journalist and found the BBC setting up its first office in West Africa. There I was, wrong accent, wrong country, wrong CV, at the right place and the right time. Gold dust. To this day, wallahi, I believe God was on my side. And Howard French. And today, graduates, I claim the honor of being the first student that Howard French ever taught. 33 years on, I'm still at the BBC. And it would be so nice if I could say to you today that all these years, my life achievement, as this Columbia Prize tells me about, has been a journey of impact and inspiration every step of the way. But I say to you Hassan, to Muna, to Adela, to all of you, journalism is always about exhilaration and frustration. Exhilaration when you do nothing less than not just walking in the margins of history, but right smack in the middle. Anxiety when we worry we can't find the right words or the picture to tell the story. We can't even find the story. Journalism is a lifetime of trying to understand people and societies who seem different from our own, but really aren't. It's believing that for all of the dizzying array of live feeds, Twitter timelines, videos, that in our world, in our profession, the story and the storyteller still matter. It's what we do. In our world, everything has changed, but nothing has changed. Let me tell you one last story. I was recently asked to listen to the crackling radio broadcasts of the man regarded as one of Britain's best war correspondents, Richard Dimbleby. He was part of the BBC's very first war reporting unit, where reporters were dispatched to provide, for the very first time, live daily reports from the front lines during the Second World War. He brought the war into people's homes. 70 years on, his reports took my breath away. Reports about the Belsen concentration camp, where he began by telling us, "I passed through the barrier and found myself in the world of nightmare." A report so distressing, the BBC refused to broadcast it. He threatened to resign if they didn't. And then another. "This is Richard Dimbleby. I am speaking to you while sitting in Hitler's chair." Sitting in Hitler's chair. As abhorrent as that is, he was literally reporting from the seat where a most horrible history of the Holocaust was written and had to be told. And he told all of these stories with the detail that all of us can understand, about faces that were yellow like parchment paper, places which lie crumpled like flowers. Richard Dimbleby came back to London from the front line in 1945. He got the attention of all the BBC bosses. So guess what happened? Yeah, he lost his job. The BBC started cutting back on its reporters. Sound familiar? So what did he do? He joined what was regarded then, and I quote, "the box, an inferior medium of limited potential." Yes, television. And if he was alive today, he'd be broadcasting on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, who knows what. Everything has changed. Nothing has changed. What did Jorge Ramos tell you yesterday about the future of news? That digital, video, and mobile is first. Ignore that, you'll be extinct. How's that for impact? In journalism, we're told about the 5 W's. Do you know them? Who? What? When? Come on, class. Where? You're just graduating, you know. Why? They're the building blocks. Now as you graduate in 2016, there's another W. Watermelon. This is your challenge now, the challenge for our journalism. But we've always had to have a little bit of watermelon in our reporting, the need to keep finding better ways and places to tell our stories. And in our global, interconnected worlds, the stories about Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan aren't stories about there, out there. The rise of the so-called Islamic State, the refugee crisis, the global recession, the stories of young people just like you in so many parts of the world trying to find their way, they're our stories now. And when you leave this hall, whether you go across the world, across the country, or just across the street, you can tell these stories. They're human stories. Because we must fundamentally believe that even if we tell the most complicated and complex of stories, and in my job I tell a lot of them, there are in essence stories like the story of today, human stories. Stories about fathers and mothers and children, about societies and neighborhoods. And so therefore they are stories which can't just be about the gloom and doom. They must also be about humor and hope. Because no matter where you go, you will find everyone has a bit of watermelon in their life. So finally, let me say, the last story I looked at the BBC website before I came to join you in New York was a digital video, a Syrian love story about a woman in the embattled city of Aleppo who married a disabled man. The story of Amina and Mohammed. It didn't get 10 million hits on the BBC website, but it has 2 million and counting, and more like it. The last article I noticed was an investigation into last year's American bombing of a hospital in Afghanistan, also of Médecins Sans Frontières, by a young freelancer, Mathieu Aikens. He's made a name for himself by learning local languages, spending time on the ground, and focusing on what we call in 2016 the long reads. And the last news I read was that the Afghan journalist Lutfara Najazadeh, who heads the popular Afghan Tolo TV, received an Information Heroes Award in Paris. He's never flinched in the face of pressure, not even threats from the Taliban, including an attack on his employee's bus earlier this year that killed 7 of his staff. Today, there are Lutfilas, there are Mathieu's, there are Howards, there are Steves, there's maybe even Lyses in your midst. For those of you who go to countries where journalism is difficult and dangerous, be careful. And remember, there's always more than one way to tell a story, one way to ask a question, one way to make a difference. Find the way that works, that keeps you working. For those of you who ask, as Hassan did, what is the point of it all? You'll find your answer over time. And some of you may decide that advocacy is a better fit. Or maybe you'll work for an aid agency. Maybe for one reason or another, you'll be a communications person for a major corporation. But all of you, whatever you do, you are all graduates of the Columbia School of Journalism. And everyone here today knows what that means. And we all know what kind of world we live in today. A world of the best times and the worst of times. A world where countless youth too many to count around the world your age, are finding their dreams utterly shattered by conflict, by hardship. A world where a teenager like Sabanhullah is willing to do whatever it takes to get an education. And then there are all of you. When I graduated 34 years ago and wanted to become a journalist, my sister Andrea gave me a poem by the late Irish poet, the Nobel laureate, Seamus Heaney. It's a short poem, and it goes like this. The way we are living, timorous or bold, will have been our life. The way you live, timorous or bold, will be your life of journalism. And that, class of 2016, has been and will ever be the point of it all. Thank you.
Thank you, Lyse. Before we present the diplomas, I wanted to, as promised yesterday, reprise for your friends and family the winners of our student prizes, as well as to acknowledge the students in the MS class who are graduating with honors because of their performance across the year. So if I may, let me read out the names of the MS students who are graduating with honors, and for folks here to support MA students, we just don't have this category of recognition for them, so forgive us for that. But I want to ask the honors roll to just stand up, and then we'll acknowledge the whole group when I've finished the list. Danielle Lindsay Alio, Robin Bacher, Natasha Banzagi, Mantai Chow, Sandra Chuma, Charlie Eckert, Antonia Nori Farzan, Ellen Francis. I owe you the great Ellen Francis, don't I? Yes, Mazen. Kyra Gurney, Hillary Hay, Zach Castro, Olivia Lance Evans, Adrian Ma, Jamie Martinez, Francesca Mirabila, Laura Moftah, Shandukani Malaudzai, Shannon Najmabadi, Lydia Namubiru, Benjamin Parkin, Jingnan Peng, Elizabeth Ponso, Sonali Prasad, Tyler Avery Pratt, Richard Recchia, Ariel Richin, Nadim Roberts, Katie Shepard, Mazen Sadamid, Armando Torres Garcia, Anjali Sui, Gabriel Charles Tyler, and Pete Vernon. Please congratulate them for working so hard. I'd like now, similarly, to reprise the winners of the student awards that we presented yesterday so that parents and guests can share that honor and acknowledge the winners. These are, for the benefit of parents and guests, often endowed awards for specific categories of outstanding performance by students. They're usually judged by faculty committees based on submissions or knowledge about where the outstanding work has been. So first, the Best MA Thesis Award, and again, please stand and we'll celebrate you all together at the end. Best MA Thesis Award, Stephen Smiley. And the two finalists, Shayla Love and Abdi Latif Sheikh. The Brown Tau Award for Excellence in Computational Journalism, Katerina Iliakopoulou. Katerina. The Campbell Award went to Ilgan Yorulmaz. The DuPont Judy Crichton Award for Outstanding Work in Documentary went to Scylla Alechi and George Steptoe. The Philip Greer Scholarship Award Fund, the MS winner is Ning Lu, and the MA winner is Jeffrey Coughlin. The Arthur Harris Memorial Prize went to Eloise Gibson. The Robert Heron Award went to Gabrielle Paluk. The Fred Heckinger Journalism Education Award for Excellence in Writing about Education subjects went to Alexandra Konstantinovich. The Horgan Prizes for Excellence in Science Writing went to Elizabeth Ponceau and Sarah Betancourt, and Emily Woodruff, who won first place. The Outstanding Editorial Writing Award went to Laura Thompson. The Peter Keller Prize went to Mary Kakatos. The Joan Connor Broadcast Journalism Award went to Ariel Richin. The Linton Fellowships for Book Writing went to Christina Brown Fisher and Cecilia Watt. The Mel Mentor Award went to Ji-Hei Lee. The Lars Eric Nelson Award went to J. Ram Devaneni. The Henry Taylor Award went to Benjamin Parkin. The James Wexler Memorial Awards went to Stefania Dignati and Noriana Fernando. And the Louis Winnick Prize went again to Francesca Mirabili. And now, finally, the awards to the highest achievers in the MS class, the 5 Pulitzer Traveling Fellowships, which are part of Joseph Pulitzer's founding endowment for the school. They're designed to enable travel and study abroad after graduation. 4 of them are awarded to the top 4 MS students, and 1 is presented to a student who wishes to specialize in criticism of the arts from our MA Arts program. And so the Pulitzer Traveling Fellowship for the outstanding student interested in arts and arts criticism goes to William Gray. And the 4 Pulitzer Traveling Fellowships to the top 4 MS graduates go to Robin Bacher, to Antonio Nouri Farzan, to Sonali Prasad, and to this year's valedictorian, Laura Muftah. So, one last round of collective congratulations to all of the honorees and winners. And now at last the main event. May I ask Dean Ernie Sotomayor to come and begin to read the names of the graduates, and we'll look forward to greeting you up here.
Hi, guys. Who'd like to come up? Come on up, all of you. Here's how it's going to work. We're going to have you come up, but we'd like a little bit of order. So we'd like to ask the friends, family, colleagues, parents to not come up to the front. We want to keep the flow going, and we want to make sure that everyone will have the view. So we'd like to begin with first Master of Arts student from October 15, Dean Lemon and Alexandra Stilla. Right here. From Bradenton, Florida, Michael Tokars. Dean Cornell. Sheila. From Oradell, New Jersey, Alexandra Hoey. We'll get it right. From Birmingham, Alabama. Oh. From Vancouver. Thank you. From Vancouver, Canada. Nadeem Roberts. You're Nadeem? Okay. Who do we have on deck? Come on up. Okay. Dean Cornell. Come on up. You're Nadeem. Ruham Usmani from Brooklyn, New York. Nicholas Wilson. From London. Yep. Nicholas Wilson. Okay. From Seoul, South Korea, Sumin Seo, with Yule Leo Seo. From Dhaka, Bangladesh, Soraya Auer. We've got some no-shows. From Bulawayo, Zimbabwe, Nyasha Kandandra. Okay, we've got some no-shows. So we're going to move on to the Master of Arts in Arts and Culture. Professor David Haydu will present his students. From Accra, Ghana, Joshua Osabuti Ani. From Wichita, Kansas, Eric Armstrong. From Bridgeport, Connecticut, Lavonda Brown. From Mumbai, India, Sholene Demarwala. From Nashville, Tennessee, Whitney Clay Diller. From Bogota, Colombia, Cristina Esguerra. From Larchmont, New York, Billy Gray. From Sydney, Australia, Shelley Hepworth. From Taylors, South Carolina, Michael Hunt. From New Delhi, India, Radhika Iyengar. From Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Adriana Kuchler. From Schenectady, New York, Peter Martin. From Hamden, Connecticut, Carlene Olson. From Madrid, Spain, Monica Parga de la Mata. From Tel Aviv, Israel, Shahar Paled. And from Hong Kong, Dorothy So. Professor Nasser and Jim Stewart will present their Master of Arts students in Business and Economics Journalism. From Aarhus, Denmark, Leonora Beck. From New York City, Alexandra Bregman. From Helsinki, Finland, Nina Brustrom. From Lagos, Nigeria, Jennifer Ademian. From Lexington, Kentucky, Keith Griffin. From Chennai, India, Prasanth Perumal. Another show. From Ramsey, New Jersey, Jeffrey Coughlin. From Boca Raton, Anders Kites. From Plymouth, Minnesota, Jane Hae-Young Kim. From Helsingborg, Sweden, Carl Johan Kulwing. From Harrisonburg, Virginia, Pierre Losa. From Los Angeles, California, Gabrielle Paluk. From Ramat Hasharon, Israel, Gil Scheffler and Yotam. Future student, future student. From Albany, New York, Becky Strum. We'll now present our Master of Arts students in Politics and Global Affairs, Dean Lemon and Alexander Silla. From Cape Town, South Africa, Siraj Ahmed. From Madras, India, Samia Ashak. From Turin, Italy, Francesca Berardi. From Copenhagen, Denmark, Kirsten Bieltoft. From Stockholm, Sweden, Victoria Grave. From Alexandria, Virginia, Ishmael Kushkush. From Lucknow, India, Neha Masih. From New Delhi, India, Pavni Mittal. From Chennai, India, Saram Radhakrishnan. From Toronto, Canada, Hassan Getty Santour. From Burlington, Vermont, Benjamin Sarl. From Madrid, Spain, Javier Saudas. From Nairobi, Kenya, Abdi Latif Dahir. From Adelaide, Australia, Stephen Smiley. From Mumbai, India, Neha Tarani Bagri. And from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Celine Perret Thomas. Our Master of Science students in Science and Master of Arts students in Science and Environment and Medicine, represented by Professors Holloway and Jonathan Weiner. From Minneapolis, Minnesota, Hannah Furfuro. From Madrid, Spain, Eduardo Garcia. From Auckland, New Zealand, Eloise Gibson. From Warwick, New York, Joaquin Valadez and Shuli Valadez, and their mom, Carlene Shu. Definitely future students. From Brooklyn, New York, Shayla Love. And from Los Angeles, California, Alexandria Thornton. We'll now have our night badges who are being awarded their MS in Business and Economics Journal. These are their fellowships. First from Phoenix, Arizona, Justin Doom. From Rumson, New Jersey, Kim Gittleson. From Danville, California, Tiffany Shu. From Houston, Texas, Iris Kuo. From Sao Paulo, Brazil, Carolina Mendel. From Washington, D.C., Stephen Overly. From New York, Jeff Roberts, who is not with us. From Indianapolis, Indiana, Corey Schouten. David Trilling is not with us again. And Betterton, Maryland, is Jamila Trindle. We'll now present our Spencer Fellowships in Education Journalism and Professor Linnell Hancock, their advisor, will present their awards. First, from Montclair, New Jersey, Sarah Mosley. From Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Aaron Richards. And from Los Angeles, California, Vanessa Romo. We have with us our students in the documentary project. They will be spending another semester with us as they complete their projects. So they won't be graduating today. They'll be with us in graduation ceremonies in December. I'll read their names and ask them to stand, and we'll celebrate their names at the end. Sneha Anthony, Oliver Arnoldi, Sarah Bellingham, Nathan Bender, Danielle Rose Bernstein, Murat Bilginkan, Debanjali Bose, Ko Bragg, Laura Brickman, Lani Chan, Maria Shu, Daniela Cruzat, Jack Dodson, Christopher Etienne, Erica Glass, Thomas Himes, Xian Jiang, Mubasir Khan, Farrell Lopez, Nikotula Manyathi, Alexandra Pazenik, Priscilla Thomas, Max Toomey, Lorraine Ustaris, and Deborah Wong. We have next our dual degree in computer science and journalism students. Anthony De Palma, Professor Anthony De Palma, and Elena Cabral will present them. From Moncagua, Chile, Andres Escobar. From Dhaka, Bangladesh, Adnan Firdousi. From Alexandropolis, Greece, Katerina Iliapoukoulou. From Sherville, Indiana, Shloka Kini. From Salem, India, Niwadan Sentamil. From Rochester, New York, Jonah Smith. And from Los Angeles, California, Cecilia Saiche Watt. We will now present our Master of Science candidates. The first group will be presented by Professor Elena Cabral. From Easton, Massachusetts, Samara Abramson. From Hong Kong, Mantai Chow. From Bogota, Colombia, Laura Gamba Fadul. From New York City, Samira Khan. From New York City, Zach Castro. From Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Catalina Marchant de Abreu. From Walnut Creek, California, Justine Miller. From Songtan, South Korea, Rebecca Peeler. From San Antonio, Texas, Alicia Pellegrin. From Quito, Ecuador, Maria Elizabeth Plaza. From New Delhi, India, Sonali Prasad. From Toronto, Canada, Daniel Rastus.
I love this.
From Oakland, California. From Oakland, California, Asha Silden. From Bluebell, Pennsylvania, Leanne Tiffany. And from Mexico City, Mexico, Beatriz Renan. Professor Cooper, Professor Ann Cooper, and Mark Hansen will present the next class. From Sayreville, New Jersey, Stephen Pisaha. From Shanghai, China, Zach Bu. From Erpelndong, Luxembourg, Joelle Dam. From Calgary, Canada, Christopher Huffaker. From Budapest, Hungary, Bernat Ivancic. From Portland, Oregon, Prathna Jayaram. From Brooklyn, New York, Joanne Jeffrey. From Shangro, China, Zhanhanhan Li. From Changsha, China, Qingqing Li. From Tsingtao, China, Liu Ji. From Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam, Dean Luang. From Kampala, Uganda, Lydia Namubiru. From Paris, France, Emma Pauli. From Mount Sinai, New York, Jean-Paul Salamanca. From Jharkhand, India, Sarah Salvador. From Mumbai, India, Bushra Sheikh. From New Delhi, India, Nikita Tucker. And from Hunan, China, Sharjam Shea. Professor Anthony De Palma will present the next group. From Los Angeles, California, Julia Barajas. From Immokalee, Florida, Jeffy Bernard. From Shenzhen, China, Lingnan Ellen Chen. From Newport, Rhode Island, Antonia Nuri Fazan. From Chengdu, China, Vicky Ga Wang. From Queens, New York, Mary Kakatos. From Beijing, China, Ang Li. From Qingdao, China, Ning Liu. From Hyattsville, Maryland, Adrian Ma. From Pretoria, South Africa, Shandukani Muladzi. Let's have her pass by again. From New York City, Faranisa Oswald. From Hagerstown, Maryland, David Samuel Rosa. From Stockholm, Sweden, Osa Secker. From New Delhi, India, Shalab Upadhyay. And from Nanjing, China, Qingyang Zhan. Professor Sam Friedman will present his class. From North Wales, Pennsylvania, Danielle Lindsay Aleo. From Atlanta, Georgia, Robin Bacher. From Westport, Connecticut, Donna Bertaccini. From Nantucket, Massachusetts, Ariana Kostakis. From Queens, New York, Charlie Eckert. From Baltimore, Maryland, Maybe Donahue Gately with Lucia Hoffman and Maya Hoffman. From New York City, Lana Lee. From Albuquerque, New Mexico, Erin Ashley Herndon Mathewson. From Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Jonathan Patrick Orey. From Queens, New York, Elizabeth Ponceau. From the Bronx, New York, Ariel Richin. And from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Samuel Lawrence Steinberger. The next group will be presented by Michelle Marriott and Howard French. Is Howard here? First, from Christchurch, New Zealand, Jessica Cartwright. From New Delhi, India, Garima Garg. From London, Jack Goodman. From Austin, Texas, Seth Harp. From Sugarland, Texas, Matthew Sadaka. From London, Christiana Mbakwe. From Houston, Texas, Anika Pomeray. From Mexico City, Mexico, Valeria Ramirez Siller. From Bogota, Colombia, Pedro Samper. From West Orange, New Jersey, Carlette Spike. From Fontana, California, Fatima Sugapong. From Toronto, Canada, Allison Vikerbeck. From Santa Rosa, California, Alicia Jeanette Webb. And from Providence, Rhode Island, Zoe Ilana Weiner. Professors Tammy Luby and Ari Goldwyn will present their class. From Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, Assem El Gamdi. From Brooklyn, New York, Josiah Bates. From San Francisco, California, Lydia Teresa Blanco. From Chichester, the UK, Harriet Dedman. From Richmond, Virginia, Maya Earls. From Tehachapi, California, Erin Golaxon. From Lyon, France, Adele Humbert. From New York City, Daniel Litke. From St. John's in Antigua and Barbuda, Amina Lavelle. From Asmara in Eritrea, Bethlehem Teame. From Hegang, China, 3 Xiao. From Short Hills, New Jersey, Ian Wennick. From Oxnard, California, Marissa Wensky. From Englewood, New Jersey, Raquel Wiles. And from China, Yingying Shi. Professors Daniel L. Lacone and Linnell Hancock will present their class. First, from Birmingham in the UK, Muna Habib. It's like old home week. From Guangzhou, China, Aria Chen. From Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Katie Ferguson. From Chengdu, China, Sing Hillary Ha. From Seoul, South Korea, Jihai Lee. From Dallas, Texas, Courtney Norris. From Austin, Texas, Tyler Avery Pratt. From Walnut, California, Daniel Rodriguez. From New Delhi, India, Aditi Sangal. From Kaohsiung, Taiwan, Timmy Hung-Ming Shen. From Houston, Texas, Laura Thompson. From St. Helena, California, Armando Tonotillo Torres Garcia. From Jersey City, New Jersey, Sydney Lane Tucker. From Metuchen, New Jersey, Azadeh Valanajed. From Tallahassee, Florida, Emily Woodruff. From Edison, New Jersey, Susie Shea. And from Istanbul, Turkey, Egem Yurulmaz, Kara Yurulmaz, and their mom, Ilgin Yurulmaz. We have enough children passing here to fill a reporting class. Sheila Cornell, our dean, will present the next three candidates. First, from Pleasant Grove, Utah, Rachel Lowry. From Kiev, Ukraine, Lesia Bishevskaya. And from Brooklyn, New York, Amanda Ray Prescott. Professor Lonnie Isabel will present his class. From Los Angeles, California, Nina Agrawal. From Burlington, Vermont, Sarah Betancourt. From Dorchester, Massachusetts, Eliza Dewey. From Apex, North Carolina, Brian Frescos. From Regina, Canada, Annie Hilton. From Irma, New Jersey, David Icanangelo. From Edgerton, Massachusetts, Simone Letty McCarthy. From Bombay, India, Devansh Mehta. From Sydney, Australia, your class president, Asa Rajvanshi. From Minneapolis, Minnesota, Scott Jalen Selmer. From New York City, Max Siegelman. And from Hong Kong, Anjali Choi. Professor Claytell will present the next group. We're turning him out here. From Mumbai, India, Poonam Fabin Chandrasai. From White House Station, New Jersey, Catherine Elizabeth Greifeld. From Selma, California, Kelsey Gray. From New Delhi, India, Ishika Gupta. From Toronto, Canada, Vanya Lakik. From Shenzhen, China, Zhou Shishi Lin. From Shenyang, China, Xiaoqian Marshall Ma. From Seoul, Korea, Suin Oh. From Scarsdale, New York, Eliza Polks. And from London, Mazen Sidamed. Professors Nick Lemon and Laura Muha will present their class. First, from Hong Kong, Selena Cheng. From Norwich, Vermont, Ben Knark. From York, Pennsylvania, Alex Doherty. From Needham, Massachusetts, Gilda DeCarli. From Colombo, Sri Lanka, Noriana Fernando. From Albuquerque, New Mexico, Kyra Gurney. From Seoul, South Korea, Sang-woo Kim. From Dunn, North Carolina, Elizabeth Gabrielle Tu. And from Tbilisi, Georgia, Salome Ugulava. Professor Sonia Sharp will present her class. From Washington, D.C., Elizabeth Hunt Brockway. From Jaffa, Palestine, Henriette Shakar. From San Francisco, California, Annika Hammerschlag. From Queens, New York, Sarah Hannah Hermina. From Istanbul, Turkey, Kardelen Koldash. From Hyderabad, India, Venkata Kandubatia. From San Diego, California, Alexandria Konstantinovic. From Santa Fe, Argentina, Santiago Meli Uber. From Locorotondo, Italy, Francesca Mirabile. From Baltimore, Maryland, Emily Neal. From Houston, Texas, Stephen Paulson. From Brooklyn, New York, Caroline Spivak. From Queens, New York, Paulina Tam. And from Chicago, Illinois, Giovanna Taylor. Professor Mike Shapiro. From Ottawa, Canada, Natasha Bansagi. From East Brunswick, New Jersey, Sushmita Baral. From New York City, Danzi Barroso. From Princeton, New Jersey, Ashley Chapo. From Manucci, New Jersey, Chris Cirillo. From Catania, Italy, Stefania Dignotti. From Malvern, Pennsylvania, Kevin Golin. From New Haven, Connecticut, Ozzie Gooding III. From Brooklyn, New York, Shannon Gupta. From Tokyo, Taiko Itabashi. From Hamden, Connecticut, Megan Cheyenne Jordan. From Streamwood, Illinois, Sahir Khan. From Stockholm, Sweden, Kaisha Lundman. From Bernardsville, New Jersey, Natalie Simone Mead. From London, Charlie Northcott. From Fremantle, Australia, Rosa O'Hara. From San Jose, California, Sanaz Rijlanjani. From Wichita, Kansas, Katie Shepard. From New York City, Lakin Imani Starling. From Sydney, Australia, Greta Suarez. From Willingboro, New Jersey, Kevin Tarr. From Chicago, Illinois, Gabriel Charles Tyler. From Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Pete Vernon. And from Brooklyn, New York, Terry Washington. Professors Barbara Kantrowitz and Amy Singer will present their class. First, from Troy, Michigan, Chloe Aiello. From London, England, Hassan Ali, who's not with us. From Bangalore, India, Kavya Balaraman. From San Diego, California, Larissa Casillas. From Santiago, Chile, Valerie DeKemp. From Santa Monica, California, Melissa Etihad. From Wantagh, New York, James Farrell. From New York City, Christopher Frazier. From Charleston, West Virginia, Sydney Frison. From Freehold, New Jersey, Ariana Ignari Faldu. From Denver, Colorado, Kaylin Lam. From Singapore, Christine Lowe. From Carl Place, New York, Jamie Martinez. From Doral, Florida, Kevin Joshua Milian Lopez. Ladies and gentlemen, your class valedictorian from New York City, Laura Masta. From Davis, California, Sarah Ravani. From Trenton, New Jersey, Kevin Stawicki. And from Nanjing, China, Xiatian Zhang. We'll call up Professors Dolores Barclay and Paula Span to present their class. From Colombia, Juan David Aristizabal. From Marbella, Spain, Katya Berger. From Bayada, Lebanon, Ellen Francis. From Denver, Colorado, Maribel Gonzalez. From Charlotte, North Carolina, Peyton Guyon. From Atlanta, Georgia, Ralph Jian. From Jingzhou, China, Shenyu Jing. From Boston, Massachusetts, Isabella Priya Kulkarni. From Jakarta, Indonesia, Karina Maharani. From Dallas, Texas, Samantha McDonald. From Nairobi, Kenya, Famu Hussein Mohammed. From Hartford, Connecticut, Andrea Marks. I'm on probation. From London, Benjamin Parkin. From Bangalore, India, Kritika Pathi. From Montreal, Canada, Zara Rubin. From East Moline, Illinois, Patrick Smith. From London and the Khartoum in Sudan, Adela Suleiman. Professor Stabiner and Alexis Clark will present their class. From London, Cecile Mokhtaria. From Beirut, Lebanon, Asil Fraya. From New York City, Lisa Herndon. Okay. From New York City, Emma Kazarian. From Berkeley Heights, New Jersey, Adam Kelsey. From Tampa, Florida, Divya Kumar. From Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Wendy Liu. From San Diego, California, Shannon Najmabadi. From Torrance, California, Stasi Olmos. From Beijing, China, Jingnan Peng. From Chino Hills, California, Ariana Piles. From Pasadena, California, Catherine Thompson. From the Prairie Brand Potawatomi Nation in Kansas, Christine Trudeau. From Chennai, India, Sushma Udipi Nagendran. From Hartsville, North Carolina, from Hartsville, South Carolina, James Keith Simmers Williamson. Professor Professor Betsy West and I will present our last student. From Nairobi, Kenya, Silas Andicho Nyanchwani. Families, friends, colleagues, faculty, and now alumni of Columbia Journalism School, the class of 2016. Congratulations.
There is a reception on Fernald for you and your families. Just make your way and we'll see you there. Congratulations.